And coming to the blocks and statements. Now, like any other programming language, Python also works in blocks of code. So this is one of the design principles of Python, and it makes the program very easy to read and understand. And many programming languages use some kind of delimiters around the blocks of code. For example, in C++ or Java, we are going to use curly braces to uh, show that this is a block of statement. But in Python, we don't have anything like that. It's very simple. We just have to follow an indentation to create a new block. Okay, we'll see that in future. So starting up with the if block. So a block can be quite complex sometimes, including further if and else blocks contained within it. And we are going to use if block to evaluate a Boolean expression and take decision based on that text, the output of that expression. Okay. So for example, let's say we have something like age, and I'm giving the value of age as 18. Now, let's say there is an election, and if the persons only above the age greater than or equal to 18 are allowed to give vote. Okay, print, you can vote. Okay, let's say I'm giving 26 here. Now, see, so this is basically your block of code. What do we have in block of code? We have an if statement. We have the Boolean expression that is evaluating that particular condition. And then we have a colon, which tells the interpreter that we are going to start a block of code. And then we have the indentation. So in Python, basically the indentation is basically your four spaces. So any block of code start with four spaces is within that particular statement, or what you can say within that particular block of code. Okay, if I run this code, what this is doing is this is checking whether the age is greater than 18 or not. Since the age is greater than 18, 26, we are getting true, and in case of true, we are going to execute that particular block of code. So we are going to print you can vote. What if this was 16 instead? So this is false, right? And we are not getting any output here. Since this is false, it's not going to execute this piece of the code. Okay, and we are not going to get any output. We have also one more function, elif. So elif stands for else if. So this means that if your condition is not correct, then check for this condition and you can do this again. So elif, you can see right age less than 18. You can write something like you can vote after let's say this, and I'm going to use dot format that we just learned, 18 minus age. Okay, now let's run the code. Okay, this will make more sense. Okay, now the person's age is 16. So what is happening here? If 16 is greater than equal to 18, that is not correct, that is false. So we are not going to execute this piece of code. Next, we are going to this elif statement and we are checking 16 less than 18. That is correct. So we are going to execute this piece of code and it says you can vote after dash years. That is 18 minus whatever is the age. So 16. So this person can vote after 2 years, right? Now, what if we do not want to give any condition here? So for if and elif, it is mandatory to give a condition. So you have to give a Boolean expression here, like we have given age greater than equal to 18 or age less than 18. But if we do not wish to give any condition here, we can directly write an else statement here, and this will also work in the similar manner. So else is executed whenever if statement fails. And we can also have a combination of if, elif, and else. So something like this can also be done. So if this, so how is this going to execute? If this is true, this is going to be executed, everything else will be ignored. If this is false, it's going to check this condition. If it is true, this is going to be printed and everything else will be ignored. And if none of the above conditions are true, then only else condition is going to be executed. And this does not require any condition. If above conditions doesn't satisfy, in any case, else is going to be executed. So here you can write, you cannot what, right? So this, okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll include a AND operator here. So just to make sure that sometimes this else elif is failing and this else gets executed. So in this case, again, if you see age less than 18, 16 less than 18, that is correct. And age greater than 10, 16 greater than 10, that is also correct. Both are true. And we have an AND operation. So this is going to evaluate to true. And then elif statement will be executed. Right? You can vote after 2 years. Now, if I change this from 16 to 6, now this is false. This is also going to be false. And we are going to see else in action. See, since both of these were false, then only else is getting executed. And no matter what, else will be executed if all the above conditions fail. So this is basically about if, else, and elif.